or not, but on Tuesday, 2/22/22, 4 years ago, Sue and I got married. And so we've been married 4 years as of today. So she's already served 4 years of her sentence.
Happy anniversary.
Very strong sentence.
Yeah. And so we're excited to, we were going to take off and play hooky today, but we decided not to.
We're glad.
So we're here.
Glad you're here.
Glad you did.
Thank
Yeah. Anyways, we don't play hooky very often. Not allowed. Just a couple announcements. There's a Iron Sharpens Irons Men's Conference on March 7th. There's a cost associated with it, but if anybody's interested in going, let Sue know or let myself know, and we'll figure it out. And unfortunately, Jack and Jennifer, their problems ongoing. Jack was in the Macomb County Jail. Jack and Jennifer are pretty involved with our kids ministry, but his previous life had some issues, and so he was waiting extradition, and if they didn't pick him up within 30 days from Kentucky, then they had to let him free, and on the 30th day they picked him up on Friday from Kentucky. And so unfortunately he's going to have a legal issue there to deal with, and we're praying that God be with him. And I was up most of the night last night, and actually I was thinking about Psalm 46. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Psalm 46, but I was hoping Jennifer would be here today, because this is a psalm that she probably needs to hear, and we all need to hear it, because it's an important psalm just for life. And it begins and it reads as follows: God is our refuge and strength. When life gets tough, we have to remember that God is our refuge and God is our strength. He's a very present help in trouble. Therefore, we will not fear. Even though the earth be removed, and though the mountains be carried into the midst of the sea, though its waters roar and be troubled, though the mountains shake with its swelling. When we think about this psalm, the psalmist, it sounds like these are almost like very disturbing things. Our whole world gets sometimes shaken up, just like it has been for Jennifer and Jack. Jack's the main source of income in their household, and with him being incarcerated, they lost their main source of income. And so there's just issues all the way around that have to be dealt with. And I was thinking about this psalm. Even though the earth is removed, sometimes the earth under our feet's removed, and our whole world is shaken. And what do we do when trouble comes? Well, a lot of us escape, or try to escape, into something that's not healthy. We do things that we're not supposed to do. We drink and use drugs and try to escape the reality. But when trouble comes, this is what a lot of people do. They push back. Get away from me, or stay away from me. They just push back on the circumstance. And if they don't push, then they fight. Like this time to get it on. Start swinging. And if that doesn't work, a lot of times we do this. We try to protect ourselves. We enter into a stage of protection. So some of us push, some of us fight, and some of us try to protect ourselves. And then others, they just yell and scream. And when our worlds get shaken, and that's really what the psalmist is talking about here. But then it continues in verse 4. There is a river whose streams shall make glad the city of God. the holy place of the tabernacle of the Most High. God is in the midst of her. She shall not be moved. God shall help her just at the break of dawn. The nations raged, the kingdoms were moved. Uttered his voice, the earth melted. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge. Come, behold the works of God, who has made desolations in the earth. He makes wars cease to the ends of the earth. He breaks the bow and cuts the spear in two. He burns the chariot in the fire. And then this is the verse I want you to catch. Verse 10, 46:10, it says, "Be still and know that I am God."
I'm getting my phone.
So we're supposed to be still and know that He is God. And instead of pushing and fighting and swearing or trying to protect ourselves, I think the key verse here is verse 10. Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will exalt in the earth. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge. And if we could remember that when we're struggling, if we could remember that when we're troubled, when troubles come our way, I think instead of putting our hands up or our fists up or being ugly, mean, grumpy, ornery, angry, or just protective, or just shouting and screaming, if we're still and know that He's our God, you know what you can do with your hands? You can just put them at your side. Say, God's in control. God's our God. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. And He will take care of things. Well, we'll begin with a word of prayer. This is a pretty cool message today, because today I want to talk about my continuing message from the book of Acts. We're in Acts chapter 2. And I'm not going to look at a lot of verses today. I'm going to start at verse 42. And so we're going to look at Acts chapter 2, verses 42 to 47. If you have a Bible on your app, you might want to follow along. But today I want to talk about the characteristics of a Spirit-filled church, because this text tells us exactly what a Spirit-filled church is like, what we should be like as Spirit-filled believers. And we're living in troubling times. We're living in times where the world is getting more violent, the world is getting more crazy, the world is getting just out of control every single day. I mean, you just read the news and you realize, the world's going to hell in a handbasket. But, if God is our refuge, as we just read from the psalmist, and if we trust God to be our hope in time of trouble, I mean, life can get better. So let's begin with a word of prayer, and I'm going to get into this message. This message is really impactful. I'm telling you, it's exactly what the characteristics of a godly church should be, a Spirit-filled church. And so I really want you to pay attention today. This is important stuff. Gracious Father,